Hey there, Raiders. It's Mrs. Niederklein. I wanted to touch base with each of you regarding ACT. For my juniors and seniors, this is going to mean something totally different than to my freshmen and sophomores. So I wanted everyone to have the same opportunity and hear the same information. So if you have any questions, please reach out and let me know. This is the latest information I have as of 4:30 on Wednesday, September 16th. If things change, which they sometimes do, if they change, I will be getting that information out to you as soon as possible. So I want to talk to you really quickly regarding what is the ACT. The ACT is a national college admissions exam. It consists of 4 different subject areas: English, reading, math, and science, combined of 215 questions, and the test time alone is 2 hours and 55 minutes. And here is a breakdown of how many questions and the time spent for each component of the test. That does not include breaks, and it does not include the administrative part as whenever we have to go and hand everything out and verify identity and all that sort of thing. There are some extra parts that have to be filled out. So the test does take longer than that to complete, but that is the test time, the time allotment for each of the components. The benefits are that most colleges require the ACT for 4-year college or university, especially here in the Midwest. ACT is a large part of the requirements for many different things. It is accepted by many 2-year colleges as well. Community colleges locally will either utilize a placement test called an AccuPlacer, or they may have set scale or set scores based off of ACT scores so that you could get into particular classes. If you are looking to go to an Ivy League or a school on the coast, those typically require an SAT. So that would mean something different that we need to have another conversation with. The higher the ACT usually means the higher scholarships that you can earn. There are many scholarships that are dependent solely based on your ACT. Some of them include your ACT and your GPA and your community service and all sorts of extra stuff. So, but that is typically one area that emphasizes emphasizes the eligibility for scholarships. It can also help you find colleges and help colleges find you to recruit you based off of your ACT score. So there are many different benefits. Some people say, I have to take the ACT. Now, my kids that have had me in class for a couple of years know this is not the case. I do not feel every student must take the ACT. Again, you heard me right. Not every student needs to take the ACT. So, question, should I take the ACT? Well, yeah, you should take the ACT if you're going to put the time and effort into actually studying. Yes, you should take the ACT if you're going to utilize your resources and ask for help when you need it. Yes, you should take the ACT if you are planning on going to a 4-year college or institution for a professional degree. Yeah, you need to take the ACT. You know what? You don't need to take the ACT, especially if you're not going to put forth time and effort into studying. If you're going to just show up on the day of the test and say, I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens, and those are not recommended. Also, if you are planning on going into the workforce, the military, a community college, or a certificate program such as CTEC or a welding institute or heavy equipment or something like that, typically an ACT score is not beneficial and helpful. So many students are very, very successful without ever taking the ACT. There are many that need to take it and that should take it and have certain scores that they need in order to get in. So Kansas Board of Regents, in order to get into Emporia State, Fort Hays State, Wichita State, or Pittsburgh State University, requires a 21 or a 2.25 GPA. And students and I have talked about this and how that would be the minimum entrance acceptance So the higher, the better. The higher that your ACT score is, the more scholarship opportunities you may have. However, if you are going into the workforce, military, community college, or certificate program, it's not necessary. You don't need to put yourself through that, and may not be any benefit to you whatsoever. So you need to know what career plan, what expectations and requirements there are that go along with your career plan. You also need to understand the time and effort that you would need to put into it. So the way it typically breaks down, my next question is, when should I, oh, that went fast. Sorry. When should I take the ACT? Well, it is typically heavy with geometry in the math section. So I usually recommend students to take it while they are enrolled currently or after they have successfully completed geometry. Now, I've said typically and usually there. Every student is different. Some need to take it more times because of testing struggles, so they may need to take it 4 or 5 times. Some kids take it once. Some kids take it only their junior year. Some students wait till their senior year. So there's no exact when do I have to take the ACT. There's no exact. Kind of like, what is a good ACT score? Well, for some kids it would be a 30. For some kids it would be a 20. So it's very, very dependent upon the student and what their abilities are and what their interests are. I typically recommend doing it during or after you have successfully completed geometry. So my freshmen have the opportunity this year to take the pre-ACT on October 12th. Don't quote me on that date. I believe it's October 12th. So they would take the pre-ACT. All freshmen and sophomores will take the Aspire test, and that is a predictive ACT score that gives a pretty accurate range of what they will actually score whenever they do take the ACT. All of my juniors take a practice ACT. My seniors, you remember that day we went into the gym and everyone takes the full-on released version of the test of the ACT. And from that, some students decide, this is not for me. I don't want to, I'm not going to do this again. And that's fine. It is a low risk. It is a practice for you to have that exposure for free. The test score doesn't actually count towards a test score, but it gives you an idea. Also, my juniors, again this year, you will be offered the opportunity to take the ACT for free. That is going to be, that is going to be in February. The final date has not been released yet, but in February will be that opportunity to take it for free. We also have an opportunity for all students to take it at Frontenac High School on October 6th. So on Tuesday, October 6th, I will be proctoring the ACT, the real ACT that will count towards college acceptance and the score here at Frontenac High School. Now, the cost remains the same, so it's $55 to take that test. Since it is a local test, I must have your registration by September 22nd via the Google form. So all students will receive a Google form. Yes, no, I'm going to take the ACT. You will be required to pay for it, and included, we will go through the specifics. So that is an opportunity. These other test dates are national test dates that you would register for at act.org. And once you go there, then you would create a login to your ACT, whether you already have a web account with them or not, you want to create one. So that would be done through act.org. and for any of those other national test dates. So my other question is, when should I take the ACT? This means different things to different students, but for the majority of scholarships, they require, and for college admissions, so scholarships and college admissions, usually it is by December of your senior year. So seniors, if you have not yet taken the ACT and you intend to go to a four-year college for a professional degree and you need that, you probably need to go ahead and take it. Since it depends on where you're going and what you plan to do. Pitt State has recently, like I said earlier, changed their requirements for acceptance that you don't have to have the ACT of a 21 or higher. You could get in based off of GPA alone. However, depends on what program you want to go into, they may have a required ACT score in order to be accepted to that program. So to the latest of my knowledge, and it's constantly changing, the College of Business, Construction, Nursing, and Education required a 22 or higher to be allowed into one of those programs. So you may be accepted into a university with GPA only, but depending on what program or area you wanted to get your degree in, you may be required to have an ACT score. So we need to get that figured out and know what you need to do. There are several different ways to prepare for the test. One of my favorite things is this. I call it the Big Red Bible. It is the official ACT prep book. I'm on Amazon, and it's $21 on Amazon. It is a really thick book. And one of the reasons I like this book is because it has 5 real tests that have been released. Not only does it include the correct answers, but it also includes a brief explanation as to why the answer was right. And then on all of the incorrect choices, it includes the reasons those choices were wrong. So you can see in black and white why it's right and why it's wrong. I don't care that number 8 is D. Why is it D? I put C. So gives an explanation. Another opportunity that you have is Magoosh. And Magoosh is an online platform that helps you practice and review. I've sent this out. If you go to do it on your own, it's $100 for a year subscription. You can do it through the school for $20 for a year. So this is the Magoosh website, and students who actually use it, it's kind of like a treadmill. If you actually use it, things get better. If you don't, it's just a thing. So depends on what you're going to use and how serious you're going to take it. But those are a couple of options that you have. There are also a ton of free online downloadable ACT prep things that could help you out. There are some paid for. It's just, the amount is endless. So if you choose to take the ACT on October 6th, I need you to register by the 22nd via your Google form. Anything else would need to be done through the national site of act.org. February, juniors will be offered the free one. We don't have the date yet. The date has not been released yet. Also, the fee is $55 per test without writing. There are some colleges or programs that require the writing to be taken, not most of them. So usually kids take it without the writing for $55. If you get in late, there will be a $35 late fee. Whenever you go to register, you can choose up to 4 free schools to have your ACT sent to, and those codes are listed there. If later on you want them sent to another school, of course, they will do that for you for a small fee. Also, for testing fees, if a student receives free or reduced lunches, they can receive 2 fee waivers throughout their high school career. So you add that along with the free one from the state in their junior year. So students could be eligible for 3 free ACT tests throughout their high school career if they receive free or reduced lunches. In February of the junior year, all juniors have the opportunity to take it for free. Again, if you do go ahead and take it, you need to make sure that you need to take it. So don't just take it because someone thinks you should, or someone tells you should, or everybody else is. That's not a good reason to do anything. So let me know what questions you have on ACT. I know this is a really brief overview of a whole lot of different things. Juniors and seniors need to be listening totally different than my freshmen and sophomores. Again, seniors, December of your senior year is typically the last date that the scholarships and colleges will use your ACT score for acceptance and or a scholarship. As always, if you have questions for me, reach out and let me know. Anything I can do to help you out, I will. I'll be putting the charts, the yellow pieces of paper, they're going to be yellow this year, and I received my box of posters in today, so I'll be getting those out soon. So if you have any questions, let me know, and talk to you later. See ya.